Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Exodus. This is episode 6, and we are continuing on with our kind of movie and media type videos. I'm sorry that we haven't, gone back to the Bible stuff. It's just I've been swamped with schoolwork, and I want to put my best foot forward whenever I do those, and these are pretty easy. I can type these up pretty quick. All right. So as I was writing this one, I was thinking, what should I do this time? Because I've already talked about movies and TV shows. So now I'm going to talk about some of my favorite characters in all of fiction and some of my favorite musicians because I'm trying to, I guess, do all sorts of media. Um, and I realized as I wrote this, all my taste is really basic. I have very, very, very basic taste. So, you guys probably will know most of these people if you've seen many movies at all. So, for my characters, there's in no real particular order, honestly. Just kind of compiled some, but I want to say for this first one, this is my favorite character of all time. It's Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. I've always liked him since I was a kid. I know that's basic, but it's basic for a reason. Spider-Man is like a great, a greatly written character, not just because of Spider-Man, but because of Peter Parker. Um, Something I really think, and I think it would be amazing if they can make a movie about this. But I think the best portrayal of Spider-Man we've ever gotten is Spider-Man PS4, the first game for the PS4. That is the best Spider-Man we've ever gotten. That Spider-Man had been doing it for like 10 years at that point, so he's a more experienced one. But I think that is such a well written character. Overall, I've never really seen a Spider-Man project where I thought, man, this isn't good at all. Of course, the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 with um, Andrew Garfield, those movies aren't great. I don't like the people rewriting history saying those movies are really good. They're not, but they're fun still. And that's kind of what I care about in a superhero movie. It doesn't have to be super well written. It just needs to be fun. If you make a boring superhero movie, you've really messed up. And even that Spider-Man is enjoyable to watch on screen. My favorite of the movies is for sure Tobey Maguire. Am I blinded by nostalgia? No, because he is the best. I mean, I guess I am a little bit, but like Spider-Man 2 is the best written Spider-Man movie that we've ever gotten. It is so well done. And the only bad parts of those movies are Mary Jane. They do her so bad. I don't know why they do that. She's not that bad in the comics, but they do her horrible in those movies. I don't know why they wrote her like that. But then on to my second one. Again, no particular order, but this would probably be my number two as well. Is Saul Goodman slash Jimmy McGill. Like I said in the last episode, my favorite show of all time is Better Call Saul. I love Better Call Saul. I think it improves upon Breaking Bad. I think if you watch Breaking Bad after Better Call Saul, you can say, "Wow, like this show's even better. Like it's better because of Better Call Saul." Um, Saul Goodman was already my favorite character, probably in Breaking Bad, despite him being in not that many episodes and not having a ton of screen time. Uh, but then Better Call Saul just improved upon his character so much. You find out his real name isn't Saul Goodman, it's Jimmy McGill. And it is done so well because I think that's a movie that does, or a TV show that does an excellent job at showing someone who is trying to do things the right way and do things, the upright and like legal way, honestly. And it's just like he kind of gets kicked down. And I think that is the sign of a great, great, great show or movie when you can sympathize with someone doing something bad. Because Saul Goodman does bad stuff. Same with Jesse Pinkman. Jesse Pinkman would probably be up there with Saul Goodman because Jesse Pinkman does some awful, awful things in Breaking Bad. But you see how he gets kicked down, and it's like, man, if a show can make you feel that connected to someone who's doing these awful things, then you know it's written very well. And so I really enjoyed that. Number three, so far these are probably technically in order, would be juror number eight. Juror number eight is the main juror from 12 Angry Men. Uh, to me, that is that might be the best acted of anyone on here, honestly. I love thoroughly. Every time I watch that movie, I get misty eyed because I think it's just so well done. Um, there's no complaint I have about that movie. It's insane. That movie really is perfect. But it really is terrific. And Juror number eight's great. And he just drives the plot along. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to say, but it's just fantastic. Next, I kind of combine two characters because I feel like they really complement each other well, and I don't think you can't really have one without the other, and it's Sam and Frodo from Lord of the Rings. I love Frodo and I love Sam from Lord of the Rings. Those characters are amazing in those movies. They make those movies. I'm gonna go on a little rant here because when I wrote this, I was like, I'm definitely gonna say this, but a lot of people do not like Frodo or a movie version of Frodo, and I think that's ridiculous. Like that's bonkers, man. Because people get upset with Frodo because it's like they think he's like useless, but he's like carrying the embodiment of sin around his neck. Like I don't know why people think that he should be like jumping for joy and like doing like backflips or something. Like no, he, it's insane to me that people are so like against Frodo and so for Sam because they both need each other. I mean, I don't know. I think that's a very well done representation of because as I said before, and as many of you probably know, the original Lord of the Rings is a it's written by J.R.R. Tolkien, and it's has many Christian themes. I think Sam and Frodo is the best representation of like Christly brotherly love in like a movie. I think it's done so well. It's kind of a who is a David and Jonathan type relationship from the Bible, where it's just that deep, deep, deep love and affection for each other in such a brotherly way, and I think that's beautiful. I love when movies can pull that off, and I think Lord of the Rings does a perfect job. But like I said before, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King is my favorite movie of all time. So, yeah. Number five. This this is more like an honorable mention almost. I'm not sure I'd say this it's not really my favorite character. It's just because of the show. But Dexter Morgan. So, like I said last episode, I like Dexter. I probably want to watch it again. It's pretty rough. Don't don't watch it. It's pretty rough. But I really enjoy Dexter Morgan because it's just he's one of those characters where he's bad and I shouldn't like him at all, and he's not insanely well written either. It's just I kind of just like him. And it's just one of those shows. There's characters in Dexter that I really like. I like Deborah. I like Batista. But like, there's no reason. The show isn't like a fantastically well written show. I just kind of enjoy all of them, and there's no real reason. So that's just one of those shows that's it's not really a guilty pleasure, but it is a show that's like not up to snuff with like a Better Call Saul or 12 Angry Men, but it certainly does have kind of its place in my eyes. Um, Next, I'm going to bring up a couple characters from this show, but Toph. Toph is probably my favorite from Avatar The Last Airbender. That show is amazing. That show is really, really good. It's shocking how good of a show that is being a kid's show. Toph is probably my favorite, I would say, because I think they do a great job. I think there's some television shows that when they include a character with some sort of disability, they're kind of treated almost like a hindrance or something. But Toph is like they do such a cool job at showing her having that disability, but her power is like lifting her above it. It's so cool. I think they do a great job with her character. Another one is Sokka. I love Sokka in that show. He's the only one who doesn't have powers, and he's great. Um, funnily enough, um, Aang and Katara being like the two main ones, I think get outclassed honestly by Sokka and Toph because I think Sokka and Toph are written so well and done amazing. But yeah, that's kind of that for Avatar. I'm looking at my time, man. I'm gonna have to make up a lot of time here. All right, I'm gonna have to make up some more people as I go along. But Next character is Obi-Wan. That is my favorite character from Star Wars. It used to be Anakin. I think Obi-Wan's better now because Anakin is really my favorite because of Revenge of the Sith, but he's not like to that level in Attack of the Clones or Phantom Menace. But Obi-Wan is, in my eyes, to that level throughout all three of the prequels and A New Hope. So Obi-Wan's great. I think he's done very, very well, and there's nothing more I can really say about him. Next, okay, I was trying to write down some, and I can't believe I remember this because it's been a while. But Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is a great character. Forrest Gump is an amazing, amazing character. Um, I love that character so much. I think they do so well. I think that movie's great, by the way. That's a really cool movie. And I love the kind of the trope of unreliable narrator because you can't exactly tell. I like to think he did all the stuff he said, but it sounds insane. But I think it's so admirable. I think that's another movie that does disability pretty well without making him like the butt of every joke. It takes some of his awkwardness to a degree where it's kind of funny, but then I don't think it treats him the whole time like a joke, but rather treats him like a hero, which he is. And so I think Forrest Gump is a great, great movie. And then finally, for my last character I had written down was Norman Bates. Norman Bates is my favorite horror character of all time. He's from Psycho, 1960. Norman Bates, that's to me, Psycho kind of encapsulates what I think horror. Um, I think that's what horror excels at. I said maybe a couple episodes ago that I think horror has kind of gone downhill because I think a lot more of it's become focused on just showing, putting the things in front of you rather than kind of leaving some stuff up to the imagination. And Psycho is a completely grounded movie. I mean, there's no supernatural, it's just kind of a psycho, right? So he's an insane person. And it does so good with him, like just being unnerving. And it's not like it's really ever that like terrifying, it's just so unnerving. It's just like this guy is just so like unhinged, but you don't really know why, and you kind of think, is he a good guy? But man, I think Psycho's a great movie, and that's one of those ones where I know that kind of sounds like a film bro type recommendation, like watch this 1930s movie with no sound, but no, Psycho is actually a pretty good movie. I'd recommend it for sure. There's a second one. I heard it was bad. I don't know why they made a second one, but yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness, we're not halfway through. Okay, well, we're going to go to the music section. I'll try to stretch this out. We'll see. So I'm going to talk about my favorite artist of all time, musical artist. Like I said before, my taste is extremely basic, so you're probably going to know all these people. I'm really know, like, music out of all media is the thing I know the least about, but it's probably the one I think the most highly of. I think music's so cool. Um, Going back to ministry, I'll always go back to ministry. But in the ministry, I think music is super important. Music is so important when worshiping God, and I think it uplifts so much. I think it's a great medium for everything. So, music's something I have a high respect of, but don't know a lick about. So, here's some people I really like. So, my number one. My number one and number two are pretty darn close, but my number one just edges it out, and it's Frank Sinatra. I love Frank Sinatra. I've never heard a Frank Sinatra song that I did not like. There's some I've heard that I skip, and there's some I've heard that I think this isn't as great as the other ones, but there's never one I've heard that I've outright disliked. And for the rest of the people, I can't say that about. I think part of the reason for Frank Sinatra being my favorite is that consistency. Um, Something interesting about him is he didn't really write many of his songs. I think he wrote 4 or 5 songs in total, and he has a ton, a ton of songs. But one of the songs he wrote is called "I'm a Fool to Want You," and I think that's his best song. And it's very early on in his career, and that song is amazing. See, for me, I don't really like somber music. I do not like sad music. If I listen to a sad song, it either has to be the best sad song you've ever heard in your life, or it has to have a happy, upbeat tune behind it. I just, it's not that I don't appreciate the slowness of a song, but I like songs to be, upbeat, um, or fast, or any of those. I just enjoy that type of song for me. Um, and so Frank Sinatra, I love I love jazz. I think jazz is great, and I think he does a pretty good job of keeping that upbeat tune. And even on his slower songs, I still, to me, that shows to me how good of an artist he was, that I'm still engaged with songs that are so much slower than what I'm used to. "I'm a Fool to Want You" is a very slow song, but it is done very well, and that's one of the few songs that when I listen to it, I really, really, really hear the lyrics. Because usually when I'm listening to music, I'm just kind of listening to it. I'm not paying attention to the lyrics, but the lyrics are great in that song. So yeah, that's my number one. My number two, once again, these can flip flop any day, but Grant Perez. I love Grant Perez. Grant Perez is a newer artist. His like number one song, it probably still is Cherry Wine, and that's a pretty good song. But I love his because he's got this. All of his songs kind of got this upbeat sound. It's not jazz. It's almost like indie pop, I guess. But I just really enjoy all of his music. Um, he has an album called "When We Were Younger," and I think that is a perfect album. That's probably the only album I've ever heard that I don't skip a single song from. And it's only like 6 songs. So, less songs you have, the less chance it's going to be bad. But it's that's a really great album. The only reason I put him at number two and not number one is, first of all, Frank Sinatra has a huge discography, and Grant Perez has like 2 albums and then a few singles, or a decent few singles. So probably like 30 songs in total. Um, and Frank Sinatra has hundreds. And also, Grant Perez recently came out with a new album. Let me make sure on the name of this. Um, yeah, Backflips in a Restaurant. That's his newest one. It came out last year. I listened to it. I really was not as big of a fan of it, because he kind of switched the genre in a lot of the songs for that one. And so, all that to say that, like, the songs that he has that I do like are some of my favorite songs of all time. But I'm a big consistency guy with music. If there's an artist I find that sings the way I like, I kind of, this is bad, but I kind of wish they would just sing like that for the rest of their career. But I know a lot of artists like to experiment. Number three, another basic choice, Michael Jackson. I love Michael Jackson. I love a lot of his music. He probably has my favorite voice of all time. I love his music, and that's one that's kind of like, there's not a ton of his songs that, like, I don't listen to a huge array of his music, but like I have probably like 20, 25 songs from him that I really enjoy, and they're songs that I can listen to all the time, anytime. So Michael Jackson, for that reason, is that at that I want to give him his flowers, because I'm excited for that movie. Like I said, that movie's gonna be awesome. Can't wait to see that. Number four, and I'll say three, four, and five can probably be kind of switched at any time as well, but one and two are stuck there. Um, Number four is Leve. I love Leve. Once again, that's another, I guess it's called indie jazz. I love jazz, but Leve does great. See, the reason I like Leve so much is because she does a great job at having these softer, slower songs that keep me, like, I enjoy it. I can't listen to it while I drive, or some of her music, because it like puts me to sleep. Not in a boring way, but in like a, just so like, it's like a beautiful, like, I don't know, like serenade or something. It's just done so well. It's relaxing. I really enjoy her music. Her newest album, Lover Girl, I thought was really good. I love her upbeat songs when she does them. It seems like one in every 10 she does is a real upbeat one. Those are my favorite, like I said. But yeah, I really enjoy her music. I think overall she's an amazing artist, and I would love for her to do a song with Brent Perez, um, because I feel like their genres kind of overlap. Not super well, but I think they could make a good song together while maintaining their kind of respective genres. And then number 5 is Sammy Davis Jr. I love Sammy Davis Jr. He did music with Frank Sinatra. They were part of a group called the Rat Pack. There was also Dean Martin. Hot take: Dean Martin's probably my least favorite out of them. I don't know why. I don't like him as much. Sammy Davis Jr. What I'd say about him is, if Sammy Davis Jr. had the songs, and this might kind of sound like obvious, but like Frank Sinatra got some really good writers to make some of his songs. So he has songs like That's the Life and Fly Me to the Moon that are just, great. Just classics, right? Sammy Davis Jr. has a couple that are considered classics. I've Gotta Be Me and The Candyman. But none of his ever reached that level that Frank Sinatra's does. But I think overall, Sammy Davis Jr. is a better performer and probably a better singer than Frank Sinatra. Sammy Davis Jr. is one of my favorite performers I've ever seen. Um, like on stage. I didn't get to see him on stage, I'll say that. But just like watching old videos, I think he does a great, amazing job at having that presence on stage that makes you just engaged when to watch him. But yeah, I enjoy his music. When he has a good song, he has a good song. He has one album. Let me find this one too. Yeah, Boy Meets Girl from 1957. That's another album that I don't really think there's a skip in that one, and that's the one he does with, I think her name's, yeah, Carmen McRae. Uh, that is an amazing album. It's a duet between him and Carmen McRae, and they're just singing to each other. That's another album that I'd say is probably a 10 out of 10, honestly. And so, yeah, all that to say that Sammy Davis Jr., if given the songs that Frank Sinatra has, would probably be one, no doubt. But now I want to go on to some honorable mentions, and we're going to need to stretch this for like 7 minutes. My goodness. Okay. And these kind of stray from what I talked about earlier because they're a bit different. Lil Tecca. I love Lil Tecca. There's not much of his music that I dislike. I don't know. I love the upbeat stuff, and I love that in rap. I've never been a fan of like slow rap or slow beat rap. So I do like Lil Tecca. I remember I listened to all of his newest album. I think it's called Dopamine. I was a little let down, but I think there are a couple good songs. I think there's a one called Irish Goodbye that's pretty good, and X Factor's pretty good, and Dark Thoughts is an amazing song from that album. I'll go with another rapper real quick. I'll go with another couple. Kanye West. I wish so bad he wasn't insane, but he is. His early music is fantastic. Graduation is probably another 10 out of 10 album, honestly. And he has some of the best beats in the game. It's insane. And he's coming out with a new album. I don't have high hopes because I did not love Vultures, honestly. But for Kanye West, I almost just kind of like feel a little sad because I feel like truly like he has some he's like really messed up, and that's kind of sad to see. Like it's sad sometimes to see really good artists just fall down such a horrible rabbit hole, and so that's kind of sad. But he has some great music. And if he had stayed consistent in my eyes with like Graduation and College Dropout, then he'd probably be like number 3. Big X the Plug. Big X the Plug is probably the one I enjoy the most consistently because to me, he is one, and I said I like this. I do a lot. Not really going away from what works. I feel like he keeps not really kind of a similar flow through a lot of his songs, I really enjoy it. His beats are amazing. I love that sampling that he does of old songs. Um, and so I really enjoy Big X the Plug. And yeah, so those are probably my favorite three rappers. Next is Tame Impala. I really enjoy Tame Impala. Tame Impala's a kind of another Michael Jackson for me, where there's like 10 or 15 songs that I just really love from them, but the rest I'm just like, it's okay. Uh, but I really enjoy Tame Impala. I did think about going to one of their concerts. It's going to be in Nashville in the next couple of weeks, but like the farthest seat away, like all the way at the back was like $370. I was like, I don't like them that much. So, um, another not really underrated, but maybe doesn't get the flowers I think they deserve is Jason the Ween. He's a Twitch streamer, and for some reason he decided to make music, and he's actually pretty good at it. He's another one who makes kind of slower music that I can still kind of get behind, and so I really enjoy his. He probably has like 10 songs in total, and I think all of them are pretty good. So, he's one who I think if he kept on the track he's on, would be someone who could, move up there for me. Uh, Patrick Witkowski, he's another person who has like 7 songs, and I like all of them. His is like indie rock. I love, I love it. I love music that sounds like it could be at the end of like I don't know, like 2010s movie. I love that kind of music. I love that upbeat, not trashy, but just I don't know, just that real like it puts a smile on your face. It feels like a summer song. And he kind of makes he has a song called Nuisance, and that has been my top listened to song for the past like 3 years in a row. I love that song. It's really good. But yeah. And then I want to say Eagles. I love the Eagles. Hotel California and is it Desperado? Is that the other album? I love those 2 albums. I think they're great. One of These Nights, the album itself, I don't think it's great, but One of These Nights, the song is probably in my top 5 songs of all time. I think it's amazing. So I really enjoy the Eagles. I'm running out, but got a couple minutes left. I'll try to think of a couple more. ABBA, I really enjoy ABBA. Um, Honestly, I think if I listen to them more, because I've listened to a decent bit, but I've probably only listened to half of their music. I think if I listened to all of it, it would probably be in my top 5 because I adore ABBA, and they use a decent bit of ABBA music in Better Call Saul, which I think is pretty cool. They use Frank Sinatra music in Better Call Saul too, so you can see how it kind of won me over. Um, let's see, is there anyone else who's really up there for me? I like Babytron. Babytron's another rapper. He's not like no, he's actually pretty good. I actually enjoy him quite a bit. Um, and then I guess as we're ending this out, I guess with some negativity, um, there is one artist who is my least favorite artist of all time, and it's not because he's the worst. He's not the worst by a long margin. And his name is The Good Kid. You guys may have heard of The Good Kid. I'm not sure. You guys might like him. I'm sorry if you do, but The Good Kid has some of the best sounding backing music of all time. It sounds amazing. I mean, it it checks every box in my head for a song I like. It sounds like a Grant Perez song. It's super upbeat, nice guitar. And then he comes in singing and just sings so weird. Like, it's not that his singing's bad, it's just like he picks such an odd flow to go with. And so for me, that's one that's like, if a song comes on and sounds amazing, I'm like, let's go. And I hear the singing, it's like, crud, this is a Good Kid song, isn't it? And so he's just one of those people who, man, I just wish he sung better. Um, and Rocco. I'll end off with Rocco. Rocco's another pretty good one. He's in the same vein as Grant Perez. I think they even have a song together. Rocco goes a little bit slower though, which I'm not as big of a fan of. But yeah, well, this has been the Exodus episode 6, and I'll see you guys next week.